people change, and that's okay. I wish there was an easy way to learn this lesson, you know? Because it's going to happen to every single person. Whether it happens in your teenage years, whether it happens in your 20s, there will be some point in your early adult life or teenage years where you'll realize that your friends that you grew up with are not going to stay that same character forever. And some of them will. Some people won't really grow too much, you know? They'll be the same as they were at 10 as they will be at 40. But for a vast majority of people, that's not the case. There's going to be a lot of change. And when you're on the receiving end of someone changing and your guys' lives not really aligning or your personalities not really aligning anymore, it could really hurt your feelings. That could be, you know, your friends going down dark paths, hanging around the wrong people, you know, starting to get into drugs and certain things, or maybe you're the person that's going down a dark path or a different path. It doesn't necessarily have to be a dark one, but, you know, you're going down a path that leads you around different people. You start acting different. You're listening to different music. You're styling yourself different. And it could be kind of polarizing when you're on the receiving end of it. And you don't want to be the guy that's like, oh man, you changed, you know, like you suck. Like I miss the old you. I miss the old blah, 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 blah. I miss the old me. You know, you don't want to be that guy, you know? But just very recently, maybe in the last 3 or 4 years of my life, I've gotten hit with like a super heavy wave of all of this shit. And you almost feel guilty because it seems like you're judging people for changing, you know? When the change could be a great change, or at least in their perception, they're making a good change as a person. And it's not your job to judge that or judge them for that. That's kind of just who they are now, you know? And you either have to accept them and incorporate them into your life, or once again, accept them, but realize that distance needs to be created between the two of you, or, you know, you might end up like them if it's somebody that you don't like, if they're turning into somebody that you don't really align with. And I don't think they really teach you these intangible things, because that's a very tough pill to swallow, in my opinion. These could be people that you've been friends with for 10 plus years, 20 plus years, you know, 30 plus years, whatever it may be. These could be people that you've shared your deepest, darkest secrets with, and they can change and be something that's not recognizable anymore, you know? It sucks because I feel like I've always been the person that I've grown so much. I've grown a lot as a person, but I've kept very similar values as the 6-year-old me, believe it or not. I feel like early on, I always had like this preconceived notion of like how I perceive the world. And obviously a lot of that changes because you grow up and you go through different shit and you learn a lot of shit. But for the most part, I'd say I'm a straight shooter, you know? And maybe that's me not growing as much as a person, or being scared to confront change, which is probably a big part of it. But I also think I'm not very easily influenced or changed by the things around me in general anyway. So, you know, if it could be a little bit of both, and it probably is. But I feel like I've been kind of like this center stone in a lot of people's lives, where I've kind of been a beacon of stability, you know, where they know I'm going to be the same every day, you know, like I'm going to be that guy every single day for them, whatever that guy is. It could be a teammate, it could be a friend, it could be that gamer, you know, whoever they think I am. More often than not, I'm going to be that person, and it probably won't change too much, you know. I feel like I'm kind of somebody that is going to grow as a person but not change, you know. I feel like there's a fine line and a difference that people get confused with between the two of those. You could change in a bad way, and that doesn't mean you grew. You could also change in a great way and grow as a person. And I feel like people get it mixed up. But anyway, that's besides the point. One of the most heartbreaking things, and this ended up happening with a buddy of mine who I held and still do hold, unfortunately, very close to my heart, where I hadn't seen him for a while and we hadn't really talked for a while. And, you know, I hear things of change and I see on social media that there's a change going on, but, you know, you're not really there in person to really watch it happen. And I finally hung out with this person after a very long time and being very excited to see that person. And it was like, whoa, you know, the eyes were different. You know, there wasn't the same innocence and love in the eyes. You know, there was a different look. It was a whole different person. And it was like, whoa, how can this happen? You know, is this the same guy that knows what kept me up at night for 100 days straight? You know, is this the same guy that we spit in our hands and shook hands and swore to never cross each other? Is this the same guy? Am I looking at the same person? You know, I think I'm just having a harder time than most people with accepting that fact, you know, that this person that you used to cherish their personality and the way they are no longer that, and they will never be that, and they will never go back to that. I'm sucking at accepting that. And, you know, let me know in the comments down below if you guys either became that person or just know people that, you know, changed and you no longer see them the same way that you did, or they're no longer in your life because you watched this phase of their life kind of consume them and become a lifestyle, you know? But at the same time, change is a beautiful thing, you know? It's a chance for growth. It's a chance for a new life. It's a chance to become a better version of yourself. You know, no matter who you are, no matter what you did, no matter where you might have come from, you can always change. Like, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're at in life, you can always change. It's a constant variable that changes. It's a constant variable in play in your life. And when it goes for the better, it's a beautiful thing. But when it goes for the worse, it's rough to look at, you know? It's I don't know. It's weird. I'm having a really hard time accepting that people won't be in my life because they've changed and we don't really align anymore. But that's okay, you know? It's okay. And I'm sure the title says the word okay in it, because before I hit record on this video, I just wanted to remind everybody and remind myself that it's okay that people change and you can't do anything about that, you know? It's par for the course. Your life is a book, and certain people will only be a part of certain chapters. And unfortunately, some of the people that strike it huge in chapter 3 were meant to just burn out in chapter 3. You know, that was meant to be their fire. You know, they lit chapter 3 on fire. And on chapter 4, you have to learn to live without that. You know, that person's gone now, and it's a new chapter in your life. And you're gonna have to keep going without them. They're not always gonna be there. It's okay to flip back the pages and, you know, read about the times that you guys had, but things have changed and you have to accept that, you know? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just hard. And I understand that. And I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but it's hard, you know? There's really no other way of putting it. It's hard to accept change. That's why so many people are scared from it. So many people prevent change because they're scared of it. That's the only reason why. They're like terrified of what could be on the other side, for good and for bad. But that's okay. It's okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to record this video because there was a person in my life who I tried to prevent change from happening to them because I knew it would be a bad change. But then I kind of realized that it's only bad in my eyes. You know, through my lenses, it was a bad change for that person. I was like, this is not going to work out for them. This is going to fuck their life up, you know, or this is going to lead them down a dark path where they're going to waste a lot of time in life trying to correct the mistakes that change caused. And then I recently as in literally before recording this video, I realized that you cannot prevent your change or somebody else's. You know, you have to accept all of it. And that change, even if it's a bad thing and you could see it coming from a mile away, is going to lead to so much character development for that person, you know? You have to let them spread their wings. I feel like I have a very fatherly role naturally. I always try to give great advice. I always try to be that beacon of light. I always try to steer people down the right path. But what sucks is I'm kind of realizing that sheltering people and kind of covering them from the reality of the world will prevent a lot of growth, you know? So you have to let people change. And that's kind of painful, you know, because like most people, you believe that your way is right and you believe that your way is the way, you know, you believe your way is the only way, when there's a lot of ways to approach a situation and there's a lot of ways that certain things can be solved. And it just so happens that some people need to just do that complete 180 and absolutely change their life, whether it's for the better or for worse. They need to just get out of where they're at, and you have to allow them to do that, which sucks because that might mean removing you from their life, and that's painful. It sucks no matter which way you slice it. Someone changing and, you know, not bringing you with them, or you changing and not bringing certain people with you, it's painful, even if it's a great thing, you know? Even if you're changing for the better and you realize that this group of cats that you're around just really isn't going to cut it because they're not shooting for the stars and they're not aspiring for these big dreams that you are, and they're doing nothing but holding you back and holding you down from who you need to become, you might have to leave those people behind, and that fucking sucks. And that whole situation was created because you embraced change, you know? You changed for the better, you improved your lifestyle, and now you lost all of your friends. You lost all the comfort of, you know, the group that you had and, you know, just being average, just being guys, you know? But you decide to take a chance on yourself and make some changes, and it might not seem beneficial now, but it will be in the future. And I've kind of realized that the past couple months, or even the past couple years of my life, is just people change, the seasons change, the sun goes down, the moon goes down. There's changes all around us, and for the most part, it's inevitable. And that's kind of a weird concept, that you could have this picture painted in your brain of all these people in your life, but that could be completely different even a couple months from now, and you have to adapt. Keep living. Life doesn't stop. Change is just weird, you know? It's just weird like that. I don't know. I wanted to talk about change because it's an interesting topic to me. I've lost some beautiful people to them making bad changes, and I've lost some beautiful people to me making some bad changes, and that's just life. You know, I can't hate myself for the bad things I've done, the bad changes I've made. I can't hate other people for the bad changes that they've made. That's just life. That is what it is. Bad things are going to happen and good things are going to happen, but you got to take them all with stride, and that's just what it is. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you were here for that little rant, it is going to end right there, and I'm going to talk about how thankful I am for the video that I made last week where I talked about giving up on YouTube and my dream, and you know how much it was weighing on me. So I just quickly wanted to say thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I was really pinned into a corner and I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know my next move. I was kind of in the batter's box and the pitcher was throwing some heat. I couldn't keep up. And you guys really just pulled me out of the dugout and handed me the bat. And you guys were like, go. You have to get up there and hit. Like, you can't be a little bitch. So thank you guys so much. You guys are literally saving my life with some of those comments. I was getting emotional just reading them. So I appreciate you guys to death. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that really quick because I feel like a lot of creators don't really let their viewers know that because of them, they are here, you know? So I just wanted to say thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later.